And welcome back. Hashtag randomly with Ronnie Jr. My name is Ronnie Jr. along with Russell Raymond. How you doing? Welcome back. We missed you.
Hey, I missed you too. Oh my gosh. This is like being here is my peace of mind. And so when I do the show with you, I'm like eternally grateful, which I've told you before. But this is my happy place and I'm so glad to be back. I love New York. I had a great time in New York, but I'm so glad to be back.
And I always say that when you do a podcast, you end up throughout your week, you make references to, oh, I was just saying on the podcast, blank, blank, blank. Yes, we're doing Real Housewives of Miami, season 5, episode 11. But you really do, when you have a good podcast like we do, I'd like to think we're pretty good.
Absolutely.
Right? 5 stars. You end up having a lot of stuff that you give from your personal life as well, because you're relating it to the show. And I find on the weekly basis, I'm always like, I was just mentioning this on the podcast, XYZ, whatever it is.
Mhm.
It's just because this show is so good. And real quick, one thank you. We did miss you out in New York City. I can't wait to hear all the stories off camera. I want to hear those stories, Patreon maybe, but, off camera. But I do want to say thank you real quick. Last week we had Tez from The Lean. He has a wonderful YouTube channel who stepped in as a guest co-host. He did a great job. Russell, of course, we embarrassed him a little bit too because I found his fun picture. So we had to
work it. First of all, he better work in that first photo. I see him.
Yeah.
Damn, I gotta step up my game. Oh,
yeah.
Here I am looking like Wednesday Addams.
Yes. What's her name? Jenny Ortega, or what's her name? Yeah,
Latina.
Yeah, and she's having
this year
a moment. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So thank you to Tez last week. So that would make me ask you rather, is there anything from last week's episode that you did, because you were not recapping with us, that you're like, oh my gosh, I wanted to make mention of this, or you just kind of fully right onto this next episode?
I'm really about this episode. I liked last episode, but you know me, when let's get into the present. I appreciate it. I mean, the wedding, oh my gosh, the engagement party was absolutely gorgeous. And of course, Andy Cohen is very slick. He knows how to get these women in a room together and get them to argue no matter what the event is. So, I mean, we could jump right into that because Dr. Nicole is just owning everybody right now.
Do you think I was a little too harsh with my Larsa love and Dr. Nicole being a fan of the show and a fan of Larsa? Was I too much with that? Because she did have a good episode this episode. However, the last two, I wasn't exactly impressed.
I mean, look here. We're gonna Dr. Nicole. How can I pitch this? I think this is going to be the first episode where you and I actually disagree or like butt heads a little bit, because Larsa right now is not my favorite. And I'll tell you why as we get there.
Why is he with the fighting words already? You know how I live for that girl. Yeah.
I know, but you know what? Larsa is going to have to be in the wrong this time because Dr. Nicole, not even that she's in the wrong, but I feel like Dr. Nicole is allowed to stand in the space that she's in, given the circumstances and the disagreements. And I 100% respect her for disinviting Larsa to the engagement party.
Oh, so you did have something to say, didn't you? You did like the mirror moment
somewhere.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to try to be more calm this episode because I always say, gosh, Ronnie, you just go so hard for Larsa or anyone that I like. Giselle Bryant, Melissa Gorga. And it's always like, though they watch our show and love what we do, it's like, I don't know these people personally. I could relax. But if any of the last 3 episodes Dr. Nicole did like okay, it was this one. When we get there, I still have, like, if I squint, I still have some moments where I'm like, oh, Dr. Nicole, you were so much more wonderful before, and now you're just you're like a you're like it's getting annoying. But she still did good this episode. I just want my housewives, my queens.
I'm trying to see who you're talking about because I don't know who you're talking to about Dr. Nicole.
Okay, so
I know you ain't talking to me about.
Okay, so we're gonna have a fight. Good. It's coming. You were gone last week, but here we go.
Here we are.
Here we go. I just want my top tier queen of Real Housewives of Miami, which is Larsa, to have like that confidence as such.
You guys right here, please. Right here too. Thank you. Right here. Down the end. Thank you. Over the shoulder. This one. The other shoulder. Thank you.
I mean, speaking of Lisa, she just had a spot on the Late Show, I believe it was.
So who we love is Bowen Yang from Saturday Night Live and Las Culturistas, one of the best podcasts ever, along with Matt Rogers. He was on the Seth, what's his name? Seth Meyers show. And they were talking about how great like the Peacock streaming platform is. And so like there was a joke a little bit where it was like, oh, you know, you're supposed to like say that because you work for NBC Universal. But then all of a sudden, you know, Bowen gave us the gay gasp and he was like, but wait a minute, Real Housewives of Miami, the top franchise. And then he gushed about Lisa and Lisa posted it on her Instagram, but although I believe she cut out his name.
Shade. But you know what? I mean, you got to respect the hustle.
Yeah. So it just goes to show. I keep talking about how like, oh, this show's so big, and for us it's great because we always say like, oh, come join our podcast. It's a lot of fun. I like to think of it as a lot of fun. You get a little R&R, Ronnie and Russell. Yeah, and we enjoy this. This is a great like almost like a therapeutic weekly thing that we do. So we're happy about that. But sometimes I'm like, it's a big show, but it's not that big. And then you see stuff like that, and you're like, it is that big.
Huge. It's huge, and celebrities eat housewives up. Jennifer Coolidge just said that she would become part of the Housewives franchise if given the opportunity. So
is she coming for Lisa Rinna's spot? Is this what we're hearing?
I don't know if she's coming for Rinna's spot, but I feel like the trade-off would be if Jennifer Coolidge took Kathy Hilton's place, that would be the equivalent trade-off. And I feel like Jennifer Coolidge is on the up and up right now. And unfortunately, Kathy Hilton has had her ups and downs for the past 2 seasons because of allegedly saying things, or it's been reported that she's been, saying things that just are a little bit off the radar that, I don't want to bring up because it's
we're not
a situation and we're not about that.
And me personally, I don't think she's that entertaining. But see, I was not one of these guys who grew up and was like, oh my God, Paris Hilton. Like I've seen Paris Hilton on a red carpet. It was not really that eventful to me. So what I think happened was when the show aired, so many of the fans who are now grown-ups, they kind of like, okay, I'll be honest, my bias with Larsa, where I can't see anything wrong with her. That's the same thing that a lot of the Kathy Hilton fans have. Their obsession with Paris is like kind of gives her a pass. But yeah, she I would love to see, who'd you say, Jennifer Coolidge? Would love Coolidge to replace Kathy. Is the rumor started right this second?
The rumor has started.
Oh boy.
Kathy Hilton, Jennifer Coolidge is coming for your position on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Mark my words. What day is it? Lord, I never know what day it is. Friday, January 27th, 2:18 p.m. of 2023. Jennifer Coolidge is coming for Kathy Hilton's spot on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
You were very specific with that one. Oh, this is how we do our episode. I will tell you, though, if you want to get more pop culture hot takes or commentary, make sure you check out Social Pop Now, which is operated by our very own Russell Ray. So that's a lot of fun. Check that out because it's one of the sites and Instagram accounts that everyone will be talking about in just a little bit of time. But before we start the episode here, I'm sorry if we're going a little bit on a couple tangents. I always say,
first of all, everybody knows what they get when they come on this show. They know we're going to have a tangent and they're here for it. So
and I'm trying not to
apologize.
I'm trying not to be as arrogant as I've been.
We are not apologizing for being ourselves in 2023 because 2023 is all about me.
Okay, so I should let it hang out again. Okay,
just
good.
Let it hang.
Because I was over here watching old episodes like, you have got the gall. Speaking of gall, Ronnie, you have got the gall because I was saying some really loud stuff. Never mean, never mean, never mean, but like a really confident person, which I like because I do know that I grew up not that way. I grew up very lack of confidence, or almost to a detriment. Being humble is beautiful, but it is a detriment when it pushes you down so low. So just as for the haters, if you ever wondered like what is it about Larsa that Ronnie enjoys so much, what is it about Giselle Bryant, Melissa Gorga? I am naturally attracted to, well, I guess in this case, the pretty girls, but I'm attracted to people with confidence and have the wherewithal to wear and own that confidence without making you feel any kind of way. Now, there's a different thing when you're confident and you're arrogant and you kind of push other people down. But I've always said Larsa does not really do that. And I don't want to hear about Nicole in this sentence, but I was just giving you, a reasoning why I like her. Real quick, though.
I don't want to hear about Nicole. She doesn't count.
I will mute your mic. I will mute a comment if we go there. No, I'm joking. This is fun though. Peacock streaming, which we just talked about. Bone Yang loving Peacock streaming. How many great shows are there? Check out our very own Russell Ray in Create the Escape. This is right as the Peacock streaming platform was rolled out. So I don't even think Housewives was really on the platform just at that time. So if you're there, which you are because you're watching this show, Real Housewives of Miami Weekly, go check that out. It's an escape room. There's parents, there's kids, there's hilarity. It's like it kind of reminds you of an old like Nickelodeon show in some ways,
or an original Peacock show.
Oh, okay. Get me all together.
You know what? That is a very great show. Like Christopher Updike, amazing vice president of unscripted content at Peacock TV. Sue Side, the executive producer, she is absolutely amazing. My co-host Angie and Hillary I had such a great time with them. They were so welcoming to me because I was the new one to the bunch there. And it's a good time. If you want to have a good time and you want to escape your reality, you can head over to Create the Escape and check me out.
I watched a couple episodes. I thought it was fun. Of course, I have my bias because I'm like, oh my God, there's my friend. You just did a great job. But at the same time, it's a really good show too. And I like how you mentioned that. Real Housewives of Miami brings the drama, but sometimes you just want more of a wholesome show. So Create the Escape on the Peacock streaming platform. We've told it to you, so go watch. And then come back next episode and say what you liked about it. That would be good too.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just leave me a couple comments. Let me know what you like about it.
Okay, so we're gonna do yes, comments, please. We're gonna do this recap, season 5, episode 11. Russell first. I want you to put this thought in your mind and then answer this question, but just wait.
Okay.
Who would you say is the shadiest? Shady, not shady. Thirstiest Real Housewives of Miami cast members. Okay, so all the people on season 4 and 5. You've got your full timers, you got your part timers. Just run it in your brain real quick and tell me who you think would be the most thirsty. Because let me pull this up real quick. The great David Yontif of Behind the Velvet Rope. I always joke with him. I'm like, David, I love your show, Behind Janet Jackson's Velvet Rope. Anyway, David Yontif always gets the great interviews. So he talked with Anna of season 2 and 3 of the original Real Housewives of Miami.
I love Anna.
And yes, Anna actually was a co-host with our friend DJ Richie Sky in Miami. Yeah.
She's a chef.
She does it all. And this is why she's not thirsty. But to say that she didn't have something to say about some of these women, specifically Marisol, is an understatement. And this is just a tip of the iceberg, but I did want to play this. And thank you, David, for sending us this clip from Behind the Velvet Rope. That's the podcast. Go check it out, which I'm sure you're already doing. But check this out real quick, Russell, and tell me what you think.
Okay. They stayed in touch with the producers. Marisol sent the producers gifts. She went to, she's very... she kisses ass like nobody I've ever seen. Like some girl from Family Karma was writing the other day how like Marisol called her one day and told her she was obsessed with her and just wanted to be best friends with her. And she does that with everyone. I went with her once to Patty Stanger's party, and she wanted to drive to the OC just because she had met, Vicky and Brooks the night before. She wanted to drive all the way to the fucking OC, and we weren't invited. And, Vicky had given me her cell number because she kind of felt we had something in common. I don't know if that's a compliment. And she's like, give me her cell number. I'm like, fuck no. She really loves that shit. That's
restraining order status. Yeah.
More than anybody else.
Miami is like epitome of like the thirsty franchise.
Oh my gosh.
What are your thoughts? Go.
It's so funny that she mentioned Marisol, because I was thinking, like, actually, who's the thirstiest? It has to be Marisol because she always has a drink in her hand. But you know what? Here's the thing. I don't fault her for staying in contact with anybody because that's how the industry works in general. Because if you can't do something for someone else, then why do they keep you on their roster? Right? So.
Well, and are the words that you're saying, would that also ring true with, like, if you have value, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you have value and a reason, they would want to work with you. Is that what you're kind of saying?
Well, yeah, I'm saying that, but I'm also saying just the way that the world works in general is if you don't make the effort to continue your connections, then you're not going to be relevant. And in anything, in any job, you could be a store manager of a Costco or a Sam's Club. And be just a regular employee. But if you don't maintain your connections and you're not in the know, then you're never going to progress yourself. And I think it's the same thing in any industry as well as the TV industry. I will say, though, asking for somebody else's number that was not given to you is not okay. Asking for people's info that isn't volunteered is also not okay. And inviting yourself to a place where you were not invited to, it was not intended for you to be there. So don't push it.
I will say Anna, well, she has a podcast with her daughter, and her daughter also works in reality TV, more on the competition side. The interview was good. I mean, there was more. That was like, I can't unsee it now.
Yeah.
There was a lot more. That was one of the nicer things. And this doesn't mean Anna was being, trying to make a moment. She was just kind of explaining her side of things. So thank you to David behind the velvet rope. What a good interview. But that does bring me, Russell, to the question of the day, and we'll start finally. But you're right. We start when we start.
Yes, ma'am.
The question of the day is because we've already done the one question of the day where we said who of the part-timers should get a mojito for next season. So we've already talked about that in previous episodes, but it did open up my mind hearing Anna, and also it's Karen, the dentist. It's Karen's birthday was this week. She's a Capricorn, I believe. It made me say, of all the old, not old like in age, but the former Real Housewives of Miami cast members, who would you want to see back in the fold? I mean, we're getting a little bit of Leah, which will just be a quick cameo. But who do you want to see? Do you want to see Leah back? Do you want to see Anna back? It didn't sound like Anna would want to come back. And if she did, it would have to be, I think the contract would have to be in her favor, Karen, I don't know that the world reacted to Karen in the first season, first seasons, but I mean, I enjoyed her. Christy Rice, who was once friends with Larsa. I don't think she really likes her anymore. So from some interviews I saw. So who would you want to see back? Joanna Krupa.
Joanna Krupa.
Oh, right away.
Right away. Just because Joanna has so much going for her, there are multiple outlets of storylines that let me restart this because I'm just getting all jumbled up my words here. It was my workout. It's a pre-workout. It's like killing me. Joanna Krupa would be the best original castmate to return to the Real Housewives of Miami, just because she has so much going for her in her corner when it comes to the entertainment world and the reality world, that she has much to offer in the event of storylines to the producers, so they can do more with her than they can do with any of the other ex-cast members.
It seems like a lot of the Real Housewives of Miami former cast members, none of them have alluded to being, very thirsty about coming back. But that doesn't mean you wouldn't entertain it if the contract was a good situation.
Yes.
I think Anna made a really good point that like the way Housewives as a TV show was back then versus the way it is now, be it with like, these might not be her words, this is the way I received it, be it with Jen Shaw and that scandal, and Erica Girardi with Tom Girardi, that scandal. Like it's kind of in many ways not really worth it, which is where Anna sort of kept saying more about Marisol, basically indicating that the thirstier you are, the better you are for reality TV. But I don't know what direction is the right direction. And I would like to see some of these former housewives come back, because I thought Karen was wonderful television. I love to see the professionalism in her. I love to see like Anna, I liked, and then I really ended up enjoying her even more because she was the co-host on that TV show in Miami with DJ Richie Sky. So you got to see her through that lens as well. And she could she could turn the party wherever she is. She's got many talents. But above and beyond, now she has a podcast with her daughter. And her daughter also didn't have really good things to say about Marisol. There was some indication that really in the Alexia and Marisol scenario, it's really Marisol that's so far up Alexia's ass.
Ooh.
So go and watch. You have to watch. You have to listen. David Yontef behind Janet Jackson's Velvet Rope. It's wonderful. Okay, so season 5, episode 11. Dr. Nicole. Wow. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, Dr. Nicole, she had 2 outfit changes for an engagement party. Diva moment. Thank you. We appreciate it. Second of all, I do respect her because I feel that I could be the same as Dr. Nicole in the event of, if you're going to disrespect me and you're going to say something so drastic that can potentially change my career just because you're upset, you're definitely not going to be around me. You're not going to be around any of my parties. You're not going to be around my crowd. I don't want you around. So I think that's fair, because Dr. Nicole has worked very hard in medical school to get to where she's at. She has started from the bottom up. There are not many Hispanic doctors, let alone Hispanic female doctors. So she takes great pride in what she achieved, and having friends in the medical field, I know the mindset and dedication that it takes and the sacrifices that it takes to get to where you're at. So she definitely has to defend her license, because if anything gets reported back to the board of the medical board, she can lose her license based off an allegation like that.
Yay, Dr. Nicole. She worked hard. Yay. And it's not dismissive of that, but it's like you chose to come onto a show that's messy. And it's almost like you're now being like angry because it's a messy show. You didn't have to do the show. You could have done a PBS documentary. You could have done a TLC
but there's
show.
Being messy, and then there's messing with someone's actual life. So being messy is one thing, but messing with someone else's life is a whole nother thing.
I didn't love what Larsa said, but at the same time, like, I just feel like it's how long is this going to go? Or is it going to go forever? Is it going to go like Cardi B said, forever? Like, is it going to go forever? Like, Larsa did not even know who you were. She didn't care about you. You were the one who were up in her business, and you were we're not getting along, and it takes 2 to tango. Like, that's a little bit aggressive in my opinion. Like, it takes 2 to tango. Okay. Like, I think Larsa's point, and I feel like what is maybe being missed, I'm not going to negate what she said because it was below the belt, but now it's turning into something different. And I just think like the only point was, you also, been where Nicole is a fan of Larsa. She probably watched the Kardashians all through medical school. She's beside herself that she gets to stand in proximity to the Kardashians. This is more of a groupie moment is what we're seeing, which is totally fine. And again, as a preface, I always say Dr. Nicole was one of my favorites. These last 3 episodes have been really tough to watch. Especially the last 2. At least this one, she had some redeeming qualities, yes. So go ahead, Dr. Nicole. Shout out to you. But it's like, I think, and Larsa might not be that eloquent with the way she explains everything, but I do understand her point of view in terms of you had a privilege in some type of way because you saw me in the tabloids, like you knew who I was. So you got to use that as something that well, I don't trust her because of this. I don't trust her because of OnlyFans, this, and this. Again, messy show. You signed up to be on a messy show. And I just felt a little bit of like, yeah, that kind of sucks if you smile in my face, but then you're like, running to Google to kind of like find things to use against me or whatever. Like I would point out the hypocrisy of, you are a little fake, Nicole. And I'm not the only person, although a lot of people aren't really jumping to say this. I'm not the only person, because I just had a conversation with another person in our business who was like, oh yeah, Nicole's doing well because she's fake as AF. Now, I'm not saying that, but it's being said. So if you could see it, you could see it. And I'm trying, Russell. I'm trying to not be that passionate with the way I talk. But I just feel like sometimes people miss the other side of it. You know what I mean? Larsa's point of view. Because again, Larsa doesn't claim to be, this, she's not always articulate. She loves her life. I just don't know how that ended up being a reason that Dr. Nicole had to sort of be in her face about it takes two to tango. We don't always get along. Yeah.
But
we've already talked about this, you and I. Yeah.
I think to be offended about not being invited to somebody's home because they don't know you personally and they'd rather get to know you outside of their own home. Because trust me, there's people that I'm very hesitant. I'm like, let me see you out in public first. Let me see you with a couple drinks first. I don't know how messy you're going to be in my house. So let me see you in public first before I decide if I want you around me. Because bringing someone into your aura is different than being out and about, because you can detach yourself when you're out. And getting to know someone is different than actually, just because they know the friend group doesn't entirely mean that I want them around me. Because I have a couple friends who've asked me if they could bring a +1 to my home. And I said,
hard pass.
we can meet at the bar, but I do not want that person at my home. Even though they're cool with you, there must be elements in there that you must like about them. But for me, I kind of read through glass like it's been bathed in Windex, like Mariah said. So I'd rather not.
You'd rather not what?
I'd rather not have the interaction in my home with someone that I'm just getting to know, because they could just take it to another level. And then at that point, I'm going to take it to another level and we're not going to neither one of us are going to like it. So let me just get to know you first. And I think that's fair. I think it's fair. She doesn't have to. Again, if someone doesn't invite you, they don't have to. You were not at the top of their preference list. Do it somewhere else. Not that anybody wants to be on top of Vicky Gunvalson's preference list. Trust me.
Vicky. Oh goodness. Okay. Yes. I have an opinion, just like to what you're saying, which again, not an argumentative opinion, just an opinion, no less. But real quick, comment wise, I think investigating someone before allowing them into your home isn't such a slap in the face. Now, should you admit this? Probably not. But then throw out an accusation to that degree, that's too far. I mean, yeah, I'm not defending by any means. Thank you for the comment. 009. You're so kind to people. I love it. I'm not negating she kind of hit hard back, and Tez made a point last week. He was like, oh, but Nicole didn't do anything to warn her to feel like she had to hit back. And she didn't. But at the same time, I think Larsa's whole point was you're arcing this story or this moment, and it's not actually the full truth is how she felt about it. It's you're trying to make it some of the housewives, they put themselves in sort of a victim moment, and it usually works on the TV and it usually works on Twitter or whatever. And I just think Larsa called her out on that a little bit. She didn't have to go further and say, I've heard all these things and I didn't say it, because in turn, by saying that, you are saying it now on the show. And I do feel bad on a human level. Team Larsa all day. But I feel bad on a human level if this does cause any issue. Just like I would hate that if, Nicole is doing this show and she's talking about spraying, hurting her neck from giving head. And if that also, the medical community also looked bad on that. This is a messy show. This is the show that you are on. So I don't know that Larsa's such a bully is really something that sits great with me. I think for Nicole to be great, just be great. But Nicole doesn't, what Nicole doesn't have? And you're always supposed to have this, even if you're new to the scenario. Nicole right now does not have these are gonna be fighting words, so I better chill. But Nicole does not have act like you've been there before. And she's really showcasing it. You know, my party is a level 10. Sometimes we have level 5, but this is a level 7, and that's a level 10. And you know, I have the black card. Nobody does. Like, Nicole, we don't care. A lot of people aren't really that stressed about money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and some people are. That's the sad thing. I personally am not. Like, if you got good money, wonderful, good, kudos to you.
If you
but
got
that's not gonna.
Good money, what the Lord says is you better give that 10% to tithes and offerings, and I am one of the offerings. So go ahead and bring that 10. You can't do nothing with 10%. That's taxes. Bring it over.
I want to hear what you're thinking, but boy, up in the comments, they're like, it's a team Nicole
let's
moment.
Let's hear them. Wait.
But at the same time, Russell, you know me. I'm not buckling. I don't mind what you say. I'm like Larsa. I don't care what you say. Say what you want to say. It doesn't bother me, but I will be fair because I do like Dr. Nicole. That has been stated on episode 1 and episode 2, episode 3, episode 4, episode 5. I do like her. Love Anthony. Oof, I love me some Dr. Anthony. I know his name's not Dr. Anthony, but I call him Dr. Anthony. But I'm not.
On what kind of situation.
You be quiet. I'm not gonna buckle. But from last episode or previous episodes, we've got the Haitian princess back with the empress back with us.
Yes.
She says,
back, girl. Hey.
Hey, girl. Hey. Who, by the way, she's given us really wonderful comments over the episode, so we're thankful. Let's see what she has to say here. Nicole has zero Larsa envy. She is not a fan of Larsa, nor is she envious of Larsa. That's wonderful, and that's so cute. That is so cute. Oh, yay! Larsa also doesn't care either. That's what I'm saying. Like, Larsa didn't even get away from me. Like, why are you talking to me? Like, I don't like, I love my life. That's what I'm saying. Larsa feels like that. It's Nicole who is very smart. We know she's smart. You know, we talk about it. Nicole does not have issue with Larsa. She doesn't feel any of this. This is why Larsa called her fake. And you, Russell, and comments could have it. But what Nicole is doing, she is doing the classic Love and Hip Hop Hollywood Moniece thing. Moniece always is getting camera time. So some of the cast members who didn't really operate in a way that they were so compelling, they said, I'm going to throw at that bait. Moniece is going to lose it. And Moniece and I are going to have a moment. And suddenly I'm going to be a big storyline throughout the season. Well, this, and I'm not saying that Nicole is doing that completely, but she is aware that Larsa is like, when the season ends, and all the girls get mad about this. Oh, I am Team Larsa all day, baby. Woo-hoo! All the girls get mad about this. This is their whole big world. And again, Larsa doesn't look down upon anybody, but they get mad about this. Real mad. Listen to me, Russell, and react too. Real mad. They get real mad because the season will have like a finale episode or a reunion. And it's like the biggest thing. They're like, running to Twitter and running to Instagram, thinking they're fans. And Larsa's like posted about it once. And that same weekend where everyone's so excited, she's off jet setting here and there. She's at the Grammys. Larsa's in the mix. And I think that they don't like that. That's my honest opinion.
I could see that, because here's the thing. Why be a part of something like this if you're so great? Number one. Number two, you have to respect the fans that are building this empire of, when it comes to Housewives, just in general. Like, the fans are the reason why Housewives is at why the Housewives is at where they're at. So if you don't respect the fans enough to give them a piece of you, which is what social media is supposed to do, it's supposed to give your followers and whomever else wants to engage with you a piece of you. And if you disregard that, that is a sense of disrespect towards your audience. So it's like, why be a part of the show?
That's quite an argument.
You know what? We're gonna table this. I want to get.
Wait, can I do one more comment real quick, because this opens up a lot. So this is actually very interesting. Do the vocal public like Larsa or Nicole more? It's a good question because I think Larsa has more fame, which Nicole is swinging big this season to get some. Which I don't even think that's bad. I'm just calling out where maybe Larsa's comment was trash. I'm saying just so for the people, even though I'm Team Larsa all day every day, her comment was really, really hurtful, especially you and I, we always talk about, great advocacy within the Latinx community. I worked at American Latino TV for 10-ish years and I was a segment producer. So we'd even have reality stars, but we would never air segments that had anything negative. We were lucky in that way. Reality TV has to be messy. I just said that.
Yeah.
But in American Latino TV, we got to put together these 4-minute vignettes. I'd have somebody like Jocelyn Hernandez, the Puerto Rican princess from Love and Hip Hop at Atlanta and Miami, and now she's on the Zeus network. And I told a beautiful story. Luckily, that show that I worked on was giving that option. But a lot of these programs don't really give that option to kind of tell all of these stories. I forgot why I mentioned that. I wasn't trying to compliment myself, but I'm saying to the point, yeah, there might be some pull-up moment where Nicole's strategically like, this is going to get me, if I spar with, that girl, because Larsa is that girl, I'm going to win.
So look, Dr. Nicole could very much be the next Dr. Pimple Popper because she has something. You know what I mean? She has something that's going for her. So she can give, and this is besides Larsa or like any of that situation. I'm just saying, if there's anyone that has a potential for a spinoff, it is Nicole because she has something to bring to the table. Like, we're going to follow Dr. Nicole, whether she works in the emergency room or whether she works, wherever she works, and she could monetize off of that and use her experience in the medical world to propel herself further into fame. She can also be very much part of a panel on any other television show that needs to talk about medical issues. Like, if Dr. Nicole was out prior to the pandemic, I promise you Bravo or Peacock would have reached out to her to do news segments based off the pandemic and what she suggested to people at the time while we were still finding out about the virus itself.
Yeah, we'll do another rumor. Dr. Nicole, send her to The View or create a show.
She'd do good on The View.
She'd do great on The View. Yeah. So again, I just do want to clarify that I really do like her. And you're right, Russell, that so many of these women are building versions of like a spinoff, and that could be maybe a Bravo original or a Peacock original, a YouTube series. Even like, to me, Gertie's always, giving that too, her bringing in
Gertie could be very much the next David Cetera. Remember,
which is
My Fair Wedding.
Oh, right. Yeah.
She is right up that alley.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so sadly, where do we have to go from here?
So
I'm gonna be calm. I'm gonna be calm. I'm drinking water. I'm gonna be calm.
I want to get to the real story of Peacock TV. And what I want to mention is Thierry went out of his way to actually print out his divorce documents, keep them in his pocket for filming, and call out Alexia, considering they don't even know each other. Do you think it was fair that Thierry confronted Alexia at the wedding, specifically because Alexia has been pulling out information on him and she doesn't even know the man?
I mean, it's like Alexia is not necessarily, we've talked about this before, she's not always ethically, or not even ethically, but she's not always morally.
Morally is a good word.
She makes some moves that are like, this is very interesting. But it's that whole thing of, how authentic was it that you cared about your friend Adriana, or that you actually cared about sort of embarrassing her in a way? And Adriana's not my favorite, but I can see where Adriana has a little bit of like, you're trying to, I mean, Adriana could also speak, she could talk back and speak up for herself, but you are in some way making me look like the homewrecker. So I'm mixed emotions about your question, only because it feels like lately, like I want to sit back, and this is for all the franchises, Potomac, all of them. It's like, are we watching a PBS like documentary? Like it's like people want the shade and the this and the that, but then like when they selectively choose the morality issue, it's like, how could Larsa do this? How could Alexia do this? I don't like what Alexia did, no, but it was very in alignment with the show, and we're making a television show, like, right?
And that's fair. The one thing that bugs me about Alexia is the fact that she couldn't acknowledge that she didn't scroll down the page publicly. She did in her confessional, but she couldn't even apologize to the man for accusing him for being married, because this could very much be a matrimony moment between Adriana and Thierry, and they could be the forever couple that'll continue on in life.
Russell,
could be. Not
what
saying
are you saying? What are you saying? You're saying Terry is here to stay? Oh, no.
I'm not saying that he is here to stay. I'm saying it could have potentially been that person. Look, you better stop. He could have potentially been that person. And if he actually was, Adriana's matchmaker or like perfect match, I mean, Alexia could have ruined that whole thing just because she didn't scroll down the Miami-Dade page to see that he was actually divorced, which I think.
Do you think Adriana could have played it a little differently? Could she have played it like, because I remember we talked about this when it happened, when they were on the beach. It was like Alexia asked a question and then waited for an answer, and 2 seconds later, because I heard this, it's like, well, if you heard it, you should have led with that. Alexia, you're being funny. I always say, if someone's being funny, that's one thing. Yeah. But don't act like you weren't being funny. I think I sort of mentioned that a little bit earlier with some of the Nicole and Larsa stuff. But it's like, you were trying to be slick. Like, and Alexia wasn't. Now, I'm trying to think. This is just Alexia. People love or don't like her, whatever. I think she's really good for the show, absolutely. But could Adriana have played that a little differently because she had dismissed it? Like, even if I don't like the comment, I could have been like, and how would you know with your, you've been married like 3 times. Like,
ooh.
Is that bad?
And at this point, we're going to take a commercial break.
No.
Real Housewives of Miami recap brought to you by Adidas in a turquoise bottle.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know what to say anymore.
Stripes will get you right. No. Okay. So look, when it comes to Alexia, I'm glad she left the party. I'm glad she left the engagement party because Adriana was with her back against the wall with all of the allegations that Alexia was bringing up. And I think it's only fair that Alexia was able to feel that wrath back at her, because what they say, you don't want nothing, don't start nothing. And she started it. And do I think that maybe Thierry and Adriana went about it a little funny? Yes, because I don't think someone else's engagement party is the place to bring something like this up. However, we know Andy Cohen, and he gets everybody in a room together and he can make them talk because it's part of their contract.
I wonder, Andy Cohen in a room with me and you, how that would go.
I think we'd have a great time. Except I'm more interested.
You were just in New York. What really happened? What really happened? Watch What Happens Live. No.
Speaking of Watch What Happens Live, Christopher Updike, love him. Very, very good to me. Very good to me. He watched me around 30 Rock. Took me into some of the sets. It was beautiful. So
good.
We love the Peacock family. We love being part of Peacock, and we love being part of NBC Universal. It is amazing. Thank you so much for giving me that opportunity. Back to the show.
No, but people are saying that's the truth. When it all started, all the streaming platforms came out at the same time. Peacock had to do something different. They had to do something unique. And it's wonderful, even for our recaps here, because when the show goes from streaming to airing on Bravo, it's just going to bring more and more people, more eyeballs, to people watching what we do as recappers or whatever you want to call it. I've been in radio for 20 years. I don't know what you call me, Ronnie, that bitch, basically.
Yes, you better be that bitch.
But it's interesting because going to that early stage, people had to these companies had to define what their unique point of view and perspective was. And I do really feel like you're right about that. And shout out to who you were stating, showing you around the sets and stuff, Christopher, because Peacock has found a way. They found a way. Even if they found a way where some of the casting for like Real Housewives, Ultimate Girls Trip is like, am I gonna want to like that? But you're still gonna be turning your head, like as if you're seeing something that you can't stop looking at. Be it the third season and the fourth season, which will be coming up, and they'll be on Peacock streaming. Maybe we'll recap them. Who knows? So I agree with you on that.
NBC Universal, when they came out with Peacock, said, "We are the original, and we're here to stay." And you know what? They really did. They locked down everybody, not in a bad way, but they locked down all of the significant talent that needed to be part of that network to propel it. And I think their strategy was amazing. They locked down Jennifer Lopez. She's had 2 movies. Oh, today, Shotgun Wedding comes out today.
The Icon, yeah.
Yes, Shotgun Wedding comes out today. Marry Me came out, was I believe her first movie on there. And then she has The Mother, that comes out later on this year. So,
and what do you think that's a credit to? I'll give you what I think. I think it's just like, sometimes I always say I don't want to give the fans too much, because a lot of times they just have an opinion. It's wonderful, but sometimes I really like the creative, like the executives know what's going on, and that's their job. But I think like looking at and not to jump to another platform, but like MTV and Paramount Plus, it's like they had a shot. MTV's Real World Homecomings were good. And they like only did 3 seasons. So it's like the fans were saying, yes, we want to eat more of this up.
Yeah.
And
you have to lean into your fans. If you don't lean into your fans, you will not be successful, just like businesses. If you do not cater to your customer and give the customers what they want, you will not be successful. You have to lean into your fans when it comes to any type of streaming network or any network in general. Television show, podcast, radio show. Your fans will dictate what they want from you. And, there's something to be said about that.
And sometimes they're really, really smart, because
tiny.
I'm like, oh, look at these comments really make sense. Alexia did not care at all. Terry, or I'm not sure how you pronounce it, printed the divorce decree at Adriana's request. It was not his direct initiative. Oh, so he was showing up for his lady. Okay, all right. Oh, yay!
You love a supportive man. And also,
he might not be my favorite, but he's no Dr. Anthony. But still,
I 100% disagree with Alexia's comment or Marisol's comment of, well, you know how men are. Not all men are trash, and we need to change that narrative, because those who keep attracting men that are trash is because that's what you're putting out there. You keep asking for this. Oh,
did you think
men are terrible? Men are such jerks. That's why you keep having jerks of men and trash men in your life, because whether you're gay or straight, a man or a woman, non-binary, you are bringing this into your life. You want better, you would project better.
Russell, the life coach, is just giving it today.
Look.
You're
fired up. I'm giving New York energy, main character. Thank you, sir.
Your 1 week vacation.
I will manifest this. I will be moving to New York by the end of the year.
Yes, it's a great city. I've loved my time there.
Sealed, delivered. Okay, in New York. Thank you.
Let's do it. Absolutely.
But like I said, I do not agree with Alexia's comment, or one of the girls' comment of, how men are. Well,
I think it was her. No, it was her. And she also said, you're not. She also
the same way.
I'm interested from, I guess, a female perspective, because she did also say, you don't talk to me that way. I'm a woman, which makes sense. But she also did jump into a situation. So I'm very interested to know how women would react to that too. I
don't think in general that anybody should disrespect each other at all. I think maybe Thierry was fed up with his name being trashed, because again, he might not be a trash individual. He might be a good-hearted, good individual. So to have your name tarnished or slandered is an issue. And I know for myself, I try to keep as much patience as possible. But if you have me with my back up against the wall, then I'm definitely going to call you out. And I'm going to ask you, do you know how to read? Because if it's on the same page that you should have scrolled down to and you didn't scroll down, clearly you don't know how to read, or you don't know how the internet works.
And
so
Alexia,
I'm going to ask you that question.
Oh, real quick, just as a side note, speaking of trash individuals, allegedly, we're gonna get to this. We're gonna. You don't know her. We're gonna get to this, which really ended the episode quite just in a moment. It was an interesting moment, and I want to know what people think about it. Yeah. So Alexia, but again, the one defense I will have for her, not in this situation, but just in general, is we like that Alexia gives so much of herself. You know what I mean? The good, the bad, and ugly. And I think people could agree with that, but that's how I feel.
Well, that's what makes reality television is you have to give all of yourself, whether good, bad, or indifferent. And whether you step out of line and you say something, then you just address it and you apologize. Like when Lizzo had her song and she said she sang a
word. Yeah. We don't need to repeat.
That was offensive to a community, and she immediately apologized, said I changed it, and then she said this is how we move forward, and that's all you need to do.
Well, here's the thing, and we have a reference. We have a clip that I'll play right now. We have, and this is everybody. We feel like, speaking of confidence, which I mentioned a little bit earlier, we sometimes feel like we have to be a shell or like just so strong in order to prove and convey that point. But the true definition of somebody being strong is probably somebody that cries on occasion, somebody that can look back and say, you know what? I may have been off about that. That's the true definition of somebody being strong. And since I love myself, here's the true definition of being strong and evaluating the situation a little bit differently. Check this out. But yeah, opening it up to, I'll say this once and I never say this. I'm not always right.
Oh, dang. This week I get 2 points. Last week I only got 1.
Last week I was like, no, but you don't understand. And you don't get a point for that. Like, I was really like, it's like, Ronnie, relax. These are Housewives of Miami. It's a TV show. It's a TV show.
Is paparazzi inside knowledge one thing that I have above Ronnie Jr.?
Oh, goodness. Just we have a good time.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Oh, you're not off the hook, Russell. No, you're not. No, you're not. Russell and this can of his. What else do we have? We have everyone getting ready for this big get together. Well, that was the get together. So that was like the fun side or the nice
butt.
Oh, tell me about Adriana's butt. Yes, we saw Adriana's butt. Boom, there it is.
You know what? Here's the thing. Look, I'm so tired of everybody getting fake butts. Just stop. Just stop. I mean, I get it. If you're like this, I get it. You want a little hey, little whoa, Come on.
Well, I plan on getting the hey and the whoa. Hello, doctor.
You need a little hey, little whoa.
Yeah, because I'm like this. I need the hey and the whoa.
Look, I've worked. Let me just show you. I've worked very hard.
Oh no, this one.
Hold on. I've worked very hard for what
Look
I
at
have
that
going
dookie.
on here. Okay, thank you.
Not a live demonstration.
And it is possible. If I can do it, you can do it too.
Dookie booty.
Ridiculous. You want to know a fun fact? Fun
Tell
fact.
us.
As a kid, my family used to call me Rust Butt.
Meaning?
Just because I always had like a little
Yeah, big old can at age 10.
No, look,
he's playing little league.
Extra cushion as a kid, so they used to call me Rust Butt.
Okay.
They also used to call me Muscles because I was so skinny, and like it was an oxymoron. But
well, it's fun, and that is why our show is just
everyone.
Different. Those were some fun clips. If you have not done so, a couple things you can do is check out both of our respective platforms. Russell does very well on TikTok. I've been actually investing a lot of time into YouTube Shorts, which can be found on RandomlyRJ.com. So please check that out. And of course, like this video and keep coming back, writing some nice comments. I guess if you have to prove your point about Larsa, you can do it too. But we do have a good time doing this show, and we hope that in all honesty, we do hope that you enjoy it. And that was the reason I played that clip, because I come with all the heat a lot of times, but the true definition of somebody being strong, and I think Alexia always wants to be strong. I feel that in her. I kind of relate in that. But it took me years to sort of be like, showing your vulnerability or showing that you made an error is not a problem. Nobody's looking at you crazy because you said, you know what, I might have been wrong about that. And unfortunately, Alexia has not really came to that point of view right now. Yeah.
And you know what? Also, do not gaslight someone when they call you out on something. Usually, when someone says something or they bring it up and confront you about it, especially if you're an Aquarius, it's because they already know. So just acknowledge it. If we're asking you to apologize, apologize. And you don't apologize, that's an issue. So for Alexia, this episode, I had an issue with her not acknowledging her wrongs, because it does show that you're a stronger person when you're able to acknowledge when you're wrong. And it also shows that you're a good person when you can acknowledge that you're wrong. Now, do I think, because I want to move on to Alexia inviting the lawyer over to her beautiful house with amazing views and lighting, by the way.
I know we gasp
A1.
at every of the, not all of them, but all of these homes in Miami and Star Island and everything. But I'm the condo living type. Like that's always going to be me.
Yeah.
And you get to drive your car in there. Which I've seen buildings like that in New York City. I remember Gwyneth Paltrow's building is like that. I used to be a doorman concierge on occasion. But the view, which Nicole referenced, and the just the high ceilings, like it is a beautiful place. And I know other people are different. I think Martina's home is wonderful too. You know, Martina and Julia, you know, they could their pool is is the ocean. You know, it's nice, but something's always very sleek to me about condo living. You know, but sometimes people don't like that.
They don't, but you know what? It's a beautiful thing. Like, to be up in a high rise and to have a nice layout, a nice open floor plan. You know, like, we're progressing, and this is what actually works best for people in today's time. People don't have time to be cutting grass anymore. People don't have time to just be doing little tedious things around a house that actually takes a lot of work. To clean a garage, like, just no time for it. Minimalistic is the way that we're moving in society. And like, grant you, like, we do appreciate those who have careers in landscaping, because of you, we're able to still maintain nice homes and things like that. So we appreciate you. But again, minimalistic is the way to go.
Adding to that, location. In theory, you always want to be a place where she could go downstairs. There's, you know, she's at the beach right there. Like, so it's also about where you're next to. If you're next to a ton of really great restaurants, like, to me, there's value in that. But I always wanted to get to the bottom of that, because you even hear it on Real Housewives of Potomac. Like, they would literally make fun of Ashley because she lived in the penthouse, which the penthouse is the penthouse, but like,
everybody
there was
wants
like
to be in a penthouse.
But no, but there was a like, oh, well, you don't live in a home. Like, I feel like we give a lot, and I love the way you mentioned that. There's a little bit of an evolution in the way people want to live their lives. Like, I just think if it's nice, it's nice, and if it fits you, it fits you. Me, the suburbs is a bit of a snore fest. But if you put me in a vibrant area where, you know, this is what I loved about New York. You know, restaurants are everywhere. You know, parks are very communal. The only diva thing that I will say that I want, let's just do manifestation. You were talking about manifestation.
Yes, sir.
If I have my wonderful, you know, that I own apartment in New York City, it just needs a little bit of an outdoor area so I could throw really nice dinner parties. That's
a terrace.
A terrace. Yes, I need a terrace.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
I
and I'm
100% agree with you. 100%.
And I'm gonna get it.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Because this podcast is gonna blow up. Just you all wait. And the original people that are here with us, we are gonna rock with you. And when we ask you for video content to send us your questions, we're gonna specifically play yours first, because you were here from the beginning. And again, like I said, you give the fans what they want. And we appreciate everybody who has been following us up until this point. All 11 episodes. Well, I mean, we've had less than 11 episodes, but we covered 11 episodes. So,
and
what I want for the finale is, I do want everybody in our comments today to DM us a video with a question that you would like us to answer, and we'll answer it for you.
The other way. He's the nicer one. I'm more like, don't talk to me. You can put it in the comments.
No, stop me on the street. Let's get a picture together. If you see
don't
me
stop me. I don't like you that much. No.
We can have a little conversation. Not too long. Just, I mean, going back to your going back to you saying about living location.
Mhm.
You've been to my house. We're less than 50 feet. We're
Yeah,
about 100
yeah.
feet from the beach.
Beautiful.
And then you walk down 25 steps and you're on the water. And then this place has amazing lighting. We have 13-foot
Yeah.
ceilings. We got very lucky. They
Yeah,
didn't
the
even have a
hotspot.
for lease sign out here. Like, we literally drove by, saw the people moving out, and we found out who the landlords were, and we got in.
Sometimes the vibe is right, but I do put a lot of value in where you live, because location. And I mean, Long Beach is nothing to scoff at. It's like,
Yeah.
that's really, I don't want to say it's on the come up or anything like that, but there is so much to do, and there's a lot of variety and diversity that is sort of bubbling up, and it's a really good quality of life too.
And we're right off Restaurant Row.
Yeah.
We walked there. We walked there for Pride last year. We had the Pride.
That was
We had
fun.
the Pride thing, and then we had Adam was here. It was me, you, Shane, Adam.
Yeah.
We walked down to the beach, and we walked up to the restaurants. Everything's like within walking distance.
Yeah.
And we can walk to the bars.
Absolutely. Agreeing with the Haitian Empress, vulnerability is the true demonstration of strength. I agree with you, Ronnie. It takes a while. The question to you could put in the comments is, when does that happen? Because I do think there's a time in your life, and we'll get back to the show in a moment. People are going to be like, Ronnie, you are really taking up time to not talk about Dr. Nicole in her American Express moment. But I want to ask, when does that happen? I guess it's different for everybody, but I feel like in your 20s, you're sort of putting your life together. Even the early 30s, you're putting it together. But I love that moment. I think for me, it was about 32, where I didn't really feel like I had to be perfect. I mean, I was more like, I'm living the life I want, So vulnerability is a big deal. Thank you for that comment. Because I appreciate it. But don't DM me.
DM me.
Don't talk
I'm a good
to
person.
me. No.
Where's the beach?
Okay, Nicole. Okay, Nicole. He's Nicole. I'm Larsa. I'm Larsa, and this is Nicole.
I'm sorry that I'm very sociable, and people just love me, and I ain't got to sell my feet, and
no, ma'am. No,
look,
I'm
you don't
joking.
want to see these feet.
Okay, so yeah, that's where the bulk of the episode did happen, at Alexia's condo. Great idea for Lisa in some ways, but it just turned into everybody's residual issues. Julia even had something to say, like, oh, I come into the room, they're talking about Adriana, very stoic. I've got no problem with somebody being mad at what somebody said. What I don't like is you sitting on it for too long and then you kind of exploding later. So even though Alexia should have said, oh, excuse me, I didn't look to the bottom, she should have owned that. She didn't own it.
Should have.
Lisa Rinna would have said, own it, Alexia.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's like Adriana I don't know. I just didn't like carrying that much Adriana mad energy, even though she was the one who stood to be judged. Yeah, she didn't want to be judged as a dating a married man. I get it, but I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it that much. Maybe I just don't enjoy Adriana. I don't know.
I think there's something there. We just got to figure it out. Oh, also, we appreciate that we finally seen something with Julia and her modeling between these two episodes.
Yeah,
we do appreciate that. Thank you, Peacock. That's what we've been asking for.
You were asking for that,
Andy. We love it.
Yeah,
we want to see the success.
Yeah, because she has to navigate in a world at a different age, and that is really actually compelling. And I thought her stylist LaSalle, he was not for the BS either. He was going to keep it all the way 100 with her, which I thought was actually very cool. Yeah.
What I do want to get into is talking about Lisa at home. What did you think about that? It's kind of like it brings the shot of Lisa at home brings perspective back to actually what's really important. And I couldn't help but feel for her in that situation. And also, Lenny, sit down, take several seats. If I had take several seats emojis immediately on my phone, I'd be sending them to him, because you signed up for a reality show. You decided to be a snake to your wife and disregard her. You decided to break your family home. You decided these things. So don't all of a sudden decide that you don't want to be on camera when you know that your wife is still part of a reality show which you've agreed to become a part of. And having been a producer, as you've been a producer as well, there's location agreements, and once you sign off on that location agreement, it is valid for a certain point. So you have volunteered to be on camera. Do not switch up on us now, because if you were confident in what you were doing, there wouldn't be an issue with you being filmed. But Lenny has an issue with what he's doing. Therefore, he's not confident in the way that he's acting, and he doesn't want to be filmed because he doesn't want to be seen a certain type of way. That's his fault.
And we will also get back a little bit to Dr. Nicole and the Alexia's paying. Here's my card. I do want to get your opinion of that. Within this moment, with Lenny, first of all, why did he look so disheveled? It's all starting to get to him. And I'm trying so hard to put myself in his shoes, what is going to create these actions that he's doing. Not the cheating part. The cheating part, he just fell out of love with her, which is hard to see because in terms of her, as a fan, we're more like, screw him. But, that's not an easy thing. When you're in it and you're connected and all of a sudden the rug gets pulled from under you, you can't just turn it off. So I could really see a compassionate side for Lisa in that regard. What I think he might be doing, and even wrong decisions, if you make an excuse and believe that excuse, you kind of get away with it in your own mind, not in real life. And I think he's thinking, listen, I don't want to be bothered. This is what I think he's thinking for real. I don't want to be bothered with the fact that I'm switching up. I got this new girlfriend. Lisa, you're out of my life. And I think he really feels I'm actually going out of my way to hook you up, get you in this apartment, probably a beautiful place for sure. Something that none of us could afford. None of us put together could afford. And he feels like you should be thankful for that. And for whatever reason, not for whatever reason, but for many reasons, Lisa's like, no, I'm going to take it right to the court because I'm going to get what I really do deserve. And I think he already has negative energy towards her because he fell out of love with her, but he has more negative energy because he's like, you should just follow suit with the way my money controls things, because he is successful. Money does control things in people's lives like that for so many reasons, for so many years. And so he's a little taken back because he said it. He goes, what's making you, who are you talking to? I don't know if he said it like that, but he was something along the lines of, who's making you feel this, to kind of confront me? And he's kind of like, bow down. I'm going to take care of it, which he did. I don't know if you would call that a nice gesture. Leave your wife. Don't even really care about your kids, but set up your ex.
And here's the thing that many fans may have not caught. If Lisa voluntarily moves out of the house into an apartment, which Lenny has provided, he can get her for an abandonment on their current location and property. And it can entirely be his without any entitlement from her. So if she leaves that house and he claims abandonment from Lisa, then she has no rights to that house. So the best thing to do is stay in the house until they get the court to decide something in that scenario. So I think that's what he was trying to do to her, is he was trying to pocket her into getting that place and well, look, she's happy. She abandoned our current house. I'm paying all the bills. I'm paying the mortgage. I'm paying all the maids. I'm paying the landscapers. She's not provided anything, so she should not be entitled to this. She's living her own life at this condo, apartment, penthouse, or whatever he's getting her. He can get her for abandonment.
But he's just trying to lie to her. Not lie to her, but he's trying to insinuate, you want to take this, you want to take this to the courts, it's going to be, you're going to get tied up in legal fees, it's going to be way worse. That's what he's like threatening a little bit. And you know what, in this case, I feel like sometimes it's hard for people to really, everyone supports Lisa for sure, but it's sometimes it's such an astonishing amount of money that we're talking about that it's you almost are like, she's going to be all right. But it is at the core, because it's all relative, you know what I mean? In terms of, you have this, $1 million home and you have this, a different price point, it's all the same, and it's all that maneuvering. And I think other people in different situations are doing that same thing. Like, I didn't really realize that. I mean, I guess I assumed it, but till you actually said it, I didn't realize that it's not the best. And this is why he's trying to tuck her away.
Again, he wouldn't be doing anything if it wasn't for his best interest. I'm sure he has someone legally guiding him in what they're trying to accomplish in this situation. But abandonment in a relationship is a thing, and he could come out on top had Lisa taken that apartment.
Laz009 says Lisa's smarter than she comes across. I do believe that. She has fun and whimsical in other seasons, but I think she knows what she's doing. The whole convo showed how terribly she is being treated, and knows damn well it could have used to get whatever she wants in the split. At this point, I do think it's a little sad. I think she's going to be fine and all that stuff, but I do feel a little sad now. Let's do a nice little Russell I see you. I'm not sure what the I see you was for, but we'll take it.
Because Russ has the knowledge and Russ has the experience. Okay. We know these things. I do my research.
I'm speaking from the heart on this next, and this is a question. Because you made more what rights you have to stand on. Yeah.
Mind you, I'm not a lawyer. This is just based off of research that I've done as a journalist. So no one sue me. However, this is a thing.
My question is, so she wants to stay in the house based on what she can get. She's not getting anything. She lost her marriage, but she wants to stay in the house based on it financially will benefit her more. Right? Correct? That's yes. Number one. Okay. Yes. So my question is, was there any other way to do that without staying in the house?
Because they both mutually agree to rent out the property, and they both split the funds and the costs and the repairs and anything that has to go into that, and pay the landscapers mutually, then they're both entitled to split it. But they both have to leave the location. Neither one can assert dominance at the location or residency, because they can claim that the other person has abandoned the property and that they're not doing their part in maintaining it. Because again, marriage is 50-50, and you're expected to split the cost down the middle, whether you're divorcing or you're together. It's expected that both of your energies are being put into the one location. So therefore you're both entitled to 50% of each asset that you've accumulated together as a couple, especially if there's no prenup agreement.
So when I get married, I'm doing a prenup.
Yes.
This is all so salty.
No
and so
matter
challenging.
how much or little you have, I do encourage having a prenup, because again, I'm an advocate of, nothing irks me more than when you see someone who's come up celebrity status because of their spouse, whether it could be a television host who has a $26 million contract a year. It can be a football NBA player or MLB player who has a multi-million-dollar, multi-year contract, and their spouse feels that they're entitled to these things. Now, my perspective on it is, you were not there when they were 6, 7, and 8 years old practicing their technique when it comes to their sport. So they put in years of effort to get this paycheck that they have. So I never feel that someone is entitled to 50% of their earnings if they have not been there since day one. You can be a spouse all you want. You can hold down the house all you want. But I think that you should only be eligible to take what you have built together in the marriage versus entitled to half of everything. Because I don't think that that's cool. Like, you were not there building the brand as a child, working the tireless hours through practice, or going through hosting classes, or paying for the schooling. You didn't do any of that. But as a spouse, you feel that you're 50% entitled to it? No. I think that Lisa has helped Lenny build his practice? Absolutely. So do I think she has the leg to stand on when it comes to claiming what she feels she's entitled to? Absolutely.
Well, I do feel like it might be a little different for us. Not really, but I do think the prenuptial agreements are important, because, like, for gay men, it's a little bit different in the regards of how you're building, because I would never want, like, a woman who is the mother of your children, in terms of straight couples, that for that not to be counted as something that is such a beautiful thing. That's
Yeah.
like, I always say how wonderful, people want to laugh, Larsa, you didn't do nothing, but like 20 years building Scotty's life is to 4 kids is something. Not to always bring it back to her. And so anyways, I guess prenuptial. I feel like is where we're at.
Yes,
go ahead.
Because if you enter a relationship and you're working to buy properties that you can rent out so that you have monthly income, a passive monthly income, I don't feel like your boyfriend or your significant other who did not work for this should be entitled to any of that if they decide that they wanted to leave you had you been married.
And it's just good measure. It's good measure to,
and it's
especially people. Yeah, and people, oh, it's so too modern, and it's it's already like counting against the marriage. No, but the rates are that people do get divorced, so you want to have that intact. So yes, if my well-hung boyfriend, we decide to get married, this person doesn't exist, but in my mind, why has he got to be well-hung though? Oh, I'm crazy. My point is, I do think a prenuptial agreement makes sense for this day and age. Okay, so now outside of all that,
okay.
This is on the human level.
Of money.
This is on the human level. I'm asking you, Russell, comments as well. You said if she leaves, it's going to kind of mess her up.
Yeah.
So now she has to stay in that house with him. That's disgusting in terms of like your mental psyche.
Because it's disgusting in the way that the law is built.
Okay. Because, and I don't want to get to this, because I'm the type that I'm very like, I guess I must have watched What's Love Got to Do with It too many times, and Angela Bassett said he could take everything except for my name, and she marched out that building, that hotel room.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's not like I would ever want to play myself and not get what I deserve and take it to court or whatever. But sometimes, and can anyone understand this? This is talking on a human level. This is not talking on logistical side. This is saying there's a part of me watching Lisa that wants me like to support her by being like, you get those kids and you take them and you go, you get the stepping, basically, not in a bad way. In terms of her, but I'm like, you, Lenny, did this to me, blew up our entire lives. You don't even get to see me. You don't get to know where I live. Like, and I know that's not necessarily the way it goes, Russell. Isn't that something though?
Legally, our government, the way that we govern is not necessarily right. And we all know this from the past 2 years of being at home during the pandemic really opened our eyes to a lot of what is going on in our society and the way that it's been built and the disagreements that we have against it. And cool. Okay. So we're here now. And the only way to change that is if we start actively pursuing politics or anything like that. But on a human level, look, what I would do if I was in Lisa's shoes, I don't know where her family is located. If they're local, I would just pop in. I would make sure that I was paying the nannies. I'd make sure that I was paying the housekeepers. I'd make sure I was paying the landscapers, and make sure I would keep all of those bills and finances in my pocket as a fallback plan. And I would not be at the house as much, but I would still make my presence known and make it known that that is my primary residence. I would not change my mailing address, but I would probably go stay with my family a few times a week.
So on some levels, that what Lenny's
to get herself out of that toxicity.
In some levels, is that what Lenny's doing by showing up? He's because remember she was like, "Oh, he's not spending the night." Then, oh my God, I would be in the court like, "Excuse me, Your Honor, though my former well-hung husband is trash." I can't be.
We're talking about your husband, not Lenny.
I can't be in that house with him. But you're saying that this is the right way. I mean, that is so. It's not astonishing to me because I definitely know it. What makes this show so great, as we talked about, Bowen Yang is talking to Seth Meyers on the Tonight Show or the one after that.
Yeah,
it's like all these things, but to see it, because again, I am literally watching the show, looking at the Peacock streaming platform and saying, Lisa, get out of not get out of there like he's gonna hurt her, but he don't deserve to breathe. He don't deserve to breathe the same air as you. He don't deserve to ever look at you. Forget if he's gonna say hello, but
Yeah.
And I've always sort of felt that. And I feel like I'm really opening my mind to that's not really the way the courts would reward
Yeah.
you in this situation without a prenup, you know? Yeah, because even there was a reference, the comments had mentioned that even when Dr. Nicole called Anthony, the advice she got was that Lisa, stay in that marital home, stay in that home, stay in that home, stay in that home.
Yes.
But what a toxic thing.
The best thing that you can do in this situation is get the papers filed, which we know that Lenny did. Get the papers filed, get yourself to the court, get an agreement on what have the judge make a judgment on your situation. Because once you're following what the judgment is, then everything freezes and it's set, right? So if the judge tells you one of you has to move out of this house because this isn't a healthy relationship, and this is how you're going to go about the finances at this point of this property. Once a judgment is called, then you can progress with your life. The thing is to get it done quick. And the hardest thing about us as human beings and having hearts and wanting the best for our relationships is that we tend to hang on and try to stick it out. Yeah. Even though it's not gonna be successful, we try. And sometimes you just got to call a spade, and you have to get out of your situation, and you have to just go to the court and file it and make it happen.
And I was not making any light of Angela Bassett and even Tina Turner in that real situation, but I'm saying it had an effect on me. It always it had an effect of like
it touched you as in a sense of like they're good, they're gonna build themselves and they've gotten to where they're at, you know, or Tina Turner in regards. But she got out from Ike. She ran across a freeway in the middle of the night, a busy freeway at that. And she said, I'm keeping my name and I'm going to be the best thing that ever happened. And she is an inductee in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She is a legend. Beyonce looks up to her. I mean, come on. The list
and none of this was a comparison, by the way. It's not how silly, not silly, how actually human like my mind was. My mind was like energy always sort of should outshine the economics, but you know, sometimes you're really going to end up losing a lot if you do that. So it's just a very odd situation. I want to ask two questions before I drink my glass of water.
Okay.
One of them is, did you get a handle on the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion looks? What did you think? And that's such a good question. I forgot my second one. But the other one was, I want to know what you think about the Alexia moment at the house. You know, hey, we don't want to talk about that. She was kind of trying to shut up Dr. Nicole, and Dr. Nicole had her epic moment. Apparently, I didn't think it was that epic. We'll get to that. Ooh, did you see the Housewives of Potomac reunion dresses? What'd you think?
I did not see them.
Oh, okay.
Not yet. Here's the thing. I wait until I can fully give my attention when I watch anything. So as you know, I travel a lot for work. We're not going to say what I do, but I do travel a lot for work. Back from New York, hit the ground running, had to come here, had to make sure all the laundry was done, had to make sure the house was in order, had to make sure I got my meals ready for the road, took off, came back. I've had like absolute zero time. I had to get back on my gym regimen because, you know, anytime you're visiting a location, sometimes you overindulge in the ways that you don't necessarily do when you're at home. So no, I did not get a chance to look at the reunion looks. However, drum roll, I did get a view of the Real Housewives of Miami reunion seating charts.
Oh, what'd you think?
It was revealed. Historically, those who sit closest to Andy have the closest relationship with him. And since we're on the topic of Dr. Nicole is sitting immediately to his left. So there is something to be said about that. I'm excited to find out what happens at the reunion. If you did not know this, thank you to rhom.peacock, our amazing source. Larsa has unfollowed Dr. Nicole, and it has been reciprocated, so they do not follow each other. They have
this is the account real quick. RHOM.
Actually, keep it on this page for a second because I'm gonna look up. Hold on, give me a second.
You're gonna look up what?
I need to see RHOM. Of course, my internet's not working right now. My phone. Oh, got it.
Well, tell
Okay.
me, I could pull it up.
Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at?
Oh, the seating chart. I know what it is.
Adriana. No. Adriana Demora has also been unfollowed by Larsa Pippen. So it is getting messy. The girls are coming out. And
well, I mean, that makes sense. These two, I've said it before, they are fans of Larsa and they got mad that they didn't get a friendship. So it turned, you don't have that much pent up emotion over somebody. The poor Nicole, she is besides herself all through medical school. She liked the Kardashians. I didn't really like the Kardashians like that.
Is that a fact or is that a speculation?
No, it's a fact. It's a fact. She had been Dr. Nicole. It's an alleged.
An alleged fact. Alexia?
No, Dr. Nicole was beside herself, and Adriana too. They would watch in the house. They'd be with their popcorn and bonbons, and they would flipping on the remote. Now, listen, I like Larsa, but that's from season 1, episode 1 of Housewives of Miami. I didn't even really entertain the Kardashians. I may have watched some of the early seasons, especially like being on red carpets and seeing Kim and seeing Courtney interviewing them both when I was working in radio. But those last seasons where Larsa was on, I never watched them. So I'm not even making my, oh my God, Larsa is amazing through that. However, oh yeah, that Dr. Nicole, she was in medical school. She was like, oh my God, I want to be part of this. So when she met Larsa, she was besides herself. Yeah, she absolutely was. Adriana, same thing. So it's not a surprise, Russell, at all.
The real level up, let me tell you, the real level up for Dr. Nicole would be to become good friends with the Kardashians, because that would hit Larsa completely sideways. Not saying that I want bad for anybody, but if you really want to make a statement and you really want to come for the jugular, Dr. Nicole, you know what you got to do. Now,
but Larsa wouldn't care about that. She don't care.
I completely disagree.
Go ahead, be friends with somebody that I used to be friends with that I don't talk bad about in public, because Larsa has never talked bad about in public. The only thing that she has stated, I believe it was on Jason Lee's Hollywood Unlocked, and Jason Lee did establish the relationship with Larsa and the Kardashians and Jordan Woods, all of the people respectively. And he asked her point blank. This was on an older interview. I reference it all the time. It was before the show started airing, this second this reboot, and she kept it close to the vest, because she was like, my kids, their kids, they're all still like friendly, so I'm not gonna like say bad stuff. Were there some things? Yes, absolutely. And she mentioned some of the things, but one of the bigger things was that she was the first person to meet Tristan and maybe go on a date with him or something like that. And then Courtney swooped in, and Chloe. It became the whole thing that you see on the show. Anyways, I'm just stating that I personally don't think Larsa would be offended, and this is what I'm saying. These people are beside themselves because they're gonna do things that like Larsa does not care about. You have got to understand how confident and maybe even selfish Larsa is. She cares about her, and if you're not in her orbit, goodbye. Don't you agree, Russell?
I plead the fifth.
Well, if you want to hear Russell talk, go to the Peacock streaming platform,
because you ain't gonna hear him here no more.
Check out Create the Escape. Wonderful, wonderful show. Speaking on more warm-hearted television programming. It's an escape room with the parents and the kids, and a lot of design stuff that Russell was a part of, and it is a great show. And I'm not that mad, or do we even care? But I just, okay, Dr. Nicole, go befriend whoever you want. Go do whatever you want, Nicole. Who cares?
Look, Dr. Nicole can come over here and we could have drinks here at my house. Dr. Nicole, 2023, right? We're in 2023. 2023 Pride, Long Beach, end of June, end of July, one of those things. Come over to Long Beach, have a couple drinks with me. Bring Anthony. We all want to see Anthony.
Oh, yeah. Okay, keep going though with the you said the followings were Adriana and Nicole, and I was just making jokes. Oh yeah, jokes.
But all
the seating chart
each other post the reunion. So something explosive must have happened at the reunion, because they were all still following each other through the season, despite whatever conversations were had on the show, now that the reunion has been shot, they have officially unfollowed each other. And again, Dr. Nicole is immediately to Andy's left, so we're gonna see how this plays out because she actually might get more camera time next season, which is like, you know, if that's the case,
you want her to
job
make
well done
corny
for
jokes. You want her to make corny jokes like she did when she was doing the confessional, when she was sitting at the restaurant at her private table.
What I would
with
like
Anthony,
to see is more of Dr. Nicole in her element, like original. Like, let's go back to original where Housewives started. I want to see Dr. Nicole in her element. I want to see her at the hospital or at her clinic. I want to see that.
Yeah, I'm with
I
it.
want to see the boss lady, and I want to support that just because you know, we need more Latino Hispanic representation. Unfortunately, the real gays of WeHo does not have that.
Oh no.
Let alone they don't have an Asian representation. And like, as we know, West Hollywood is a melting pot of a lot of different cultures and ethnicities. And unfortunately, there's not much variation on that. So
that show is an episode alone. Yeah.
We do appreciate that the Real Housewives of Miami does have diversity and have a lot of different cultures, a lot of background. A lot of it is Hispanic based. However, there are, different shapes, sizes, and colors on the show, which we do appreciate. And I do want to give support to Dr. Nicole for the fact that she is a Hispanic female in the medical industry.
Well, boy, you are just a Nicole lover today.
we love Dr. Nicole. We love Nicole Scherzinger. We love Nicole Richie. We love
all the Nicoles.
We love all the Nicoles. Here's Christinas are like another. Not that there's a Christina anywhere, but Christina. I'm feeling some type of way about Christina's right now.
I will say Christina Milian should join the show because there was a time where she did her show, and it doesn't have to be Miami. She did her show, and I think sometimes it was so competitive. Not really competitive, meaning you had to compete, but if you didn't compete to what the Kardashians were doing, numbers wise on the E channel, you didn't really get a second season. So Christina Milian has a couple sisters, and they did a sister type show, and it didn't really go, but. Christina Milian to me is very interesting, and maybe just on a solo basis. I don't know where she lives. I believe in Los Angeles. Like, joining one of these shows would be something we don't want to watch. Yeah,
and her man. Can we just talk about her man for a minute?
We always do.
Fire emoji, like fire.
We always do. Real quick, going off what you were saying, Lisa, Larsa, Alexia, Marisol, and Kiki is on the on stage, which she wasn't last year. And then on the other side, it's Nicole, Julia, Adriana, and Gertie. Oh, I feel bad for Gertie. Gertie did a lot of heavy lifting, and she's at the very end. But as we saw, and we're seeing this a lot more, sometimes like a Kenya Moore. Well, Kenya Moore always gets first seat, I believe. But last year, Larsa, who was the star of the show last year, and this year too, Larsa didn't get the first seat, but like she was the most entertaining in the room. So it does count. No, that's a fact. It's another actual alleged fact. Alleged fact. So I don't know that it always creates something, but it is a bit of job security and little things too to pay attention to. This is my my brain is just all over. This is my, as I said, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the episodes. I love Dr. Nicole. I love Anthony. I like what's going on.
Yeah.
So this side of my brain that does like her, when she could just leave Larsa alone and stop being such a groupie, does say it's not only job security because she sat next to Andy, it's job security because in the artwork, she was the front, maybe based on she's the shorter of the cast member, so maybe it just visually looked nice that way, but she was the very front person in the photograph.
Or maybe Larsa plans to leave and they're going to transition into Nicole being the lead because Larsa has something in her back pocket that we don't know about.
You want to know something funny?
Tell me.
I'd be so down for that. Like, I like her, but to me, Larsa's always popping. And I hated that narrative of like, she wasn't even good on Miami. She was only on for a little bit. I don't think she wasn't good. I think she was respecting the time that her and Scotty were sort of going through it marriage-wise, and you don't need a reality TV camera to kind of make that harder. And so to me, maybe I'm a fool, maybe, I'm thinking it was she left because she had a bigger priority. You know,
Yes.
she used to always say, I'm doing the show so long as it works with Scotty at the time that they were married. And then, of course, you know, when she moved on, she definitely moved on. So yeah, I don't hold any of my favorites, Giselle, Melissa Gorga. If they some people to me are so fly. Sorry, we're just talking so much. Some people are so fly, Russell, like myself, like you. We're gonna be fly no matter where we're
No
at.
matter where you put us.
I said it last week's episode.
We are
to
main
Tez.
character. Main character energy.
Okay, we do got to wrap soon. Russell, tell me what you thought of Dr. Nicole's big moment. Tell me, was it Alexia being shady by saying, I don't want you to talk because I'm paying for this? Like, what did you feel about that whole thing? And even at the table, when Nicole got in Larsa's face to a degree, and I don't know if Larsa was just like, I don't want to entertain you, or she just couldn't keep up. Because you know, Nicole's very wordy and she's very quick and she's very educated. Like that's the trifecta, you know. And I did, as a Larsa fan, I felt a little like, gosh, I do wish she would have had something to say. Now, why she didn't snap back or clap back, was it because she did actually feel like we've already done this? I did, maybe in the back of her head, I did kind of go for the jugular last time by saying, you know, she slept with everybody at the hospital, which is kind of low. And maybe she's just like, she doesn't want to continue. Or do you think Larsa just got ate up by Nicole and only could resort to whatever? As a Larsa fan, it was like, oh no, Larsa, come on. Like, you know, come with something, but she didn't. Yeah. Your thoughts?
I think here's the thing. I think Alexia held this get together because she wanted to control the narrative and she wanted to tell you how things were going to go. And I think Dr. Nicole doesn't like to be challenged, which I can relate to. I like to be challenged in the event of like to make myself better, but I don't like to be challenged in the fact of like, you're just going to disrespect me just because you want to disrespect me. It's just not going to happen like that. I'm not going to roll over and die. So I think Dr. Nicole pulling out her black Amex card was the move to do. Because, okay, you want to talk about how you're paying for this? Good. Now I'm paying for it. So now we'll go about it my way. I don't need your money and I don't need your lawyer here to tell me what we're going to do or how we're going to go about this because you paid for it. Just because you paid for it, you supposedly did this so that we can ask open and honest questions. And now you want to get dirty with it. So now I'm going to take control of the situation because clearly you can't. And I'm going to go ahead and throw my card on the table because you don't have more than I do. Not that I have more. However, I can match you. So don't act like I can't match you because we can very well play this game. And I think that's where the fans see Dr. Nicole at, is that she was not going to be controlled by Alexia, but I'm going to match you because we're not playing this game. You're not going to try to punk me into sitting here and just listening and taking in all this negativity about what you guys think about me or slander or anything in that regards. But we'll be fair about it. I'll pay for my half. It's almost like when you go to dinner with somebody and they pay for you and then they bring it up over and over and over and over and over. So the next time you do it and you go to dinner with someone, you pull out your own card like, I got this. I don't need you to pay for me. Why do I need you to pay for me? So I think that's more of where it was coming from, is that she was just tired of hearing it. And I think, and I'm trying to not mention any names. That's the hardest part about it.
Say it.
No, because this is going to start bigger problems than.
Okay. We already know what housewife you don't like from other episodes, and I won't bring it up again.
I'll bring it up. No, I'm just kidding. No. But I can relate to this on a personal level because I've experienced this from a very young age with a few select people, of them always having to try to be the one up, right? But in this situation, no one can one up Dr. Nicole because she can match it, which is what I respect about this situation and what I respect about Dr. Nicole's reaction to the situation. Because nothing is worse than a one-upper. If anybody watching this podcast right now is a one-upper, like, just stop it. It's better to want to. It's better to want to progress yourself, but to want to one up somebody, you have ill intent, and you just need to go somewhere else with that. Okay, don't come on the show. Thank you.
I agree completely. I'm a very my mind is that it's very like pay you no mind, and that if
and
I'm
with
not
Larsa, I think it takes a sense of maturity just to back down when you know is the time to back down, or just to let it go when it's just time to let it go.
So maybe in some weird way that was her not apologizing, but her typically she's going to keep going. But maybe there was a part where she was like, I didn't really need to put the girl out there like that with that rumor that could kind of like, come, you know, maybe
it's mature to know when to back off. It is mature to know when to back off. It's immature to want to be the one that gets the last word in. It's very immature.
So do you think there's going to be a moment that Larsa will apologize? And if she does that? Because right now, Dr. Nicole is riled up about everything Larsa. Like I said, she's besides herself. She can't believe she's talking to somebody who talked to Kim Kardashian. Like this is like a, oh my God, I'm around a superstar. That's how Nicole acts around Larsa. An alleged fact. No, but on the real, truthfully, I talk how I talk, and we said a lot of stuff today on today's episode, but I want that. I want Larsa to be like, okay, I always hit below the belt. That's me. I didn't need to do all that. I still think you're fake, and we got to work through those things, but like, I didn't need to do that where I didn't even if Larsa were to say, I didn't realize.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
I think all Larsa needs to say is, I didn't realize that I was referencing Grey's Anatomy about people sleeping around the whole time. I'm so sorry. I got that mixed up. I was just thrown into rewatching the seasons from season 1 that I confused you because you're just so pretty like the people on Grey's Anatomy. I'm sorry about that.
That's a good one. And that's good because then Dr. Nicole could keep on flourishing and Larsa could go back to like, you know, just being like, this is what it is, baby. Like, I want them, you know, I know it feels like I'm so much on one side and I am Team Larsa all day, every day, never gonna buckle on that. But at the same time, like, I really, 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 really do want both of the women to flourish. You know,
she is stunning. Like, she is stunning. She's a stunning woman. Like, good for her. Good for her. Not saying that Larsa's not, but I'm just saying, good for you. Like, to build yourself up, like, good for you.
And there is a certain level, and as you stated, they're not all Latino women, but at the same time, like, you and I, we have, you know, the shows are hard to watch when it's too much of the bickering, especially when you like all of them and you're like, I don't want to see this Colombian woman going through this on the television. That's so, you know, such a depressing scenario. Or I don't even want to see, you know, Larsa, the Lebanese and Syrian. Like I don't really want all of that. And I do think what you're saying makes sense. Like, let's get back to Housewives. Like, you know, even how Anna said on that interview, let's get back to what Housewives used to be versus it's becoming this like, okay, we're going to put everyone in a group and all of you just show the worst of yourselves. You know, you do a stunt, you do a stunt. Yeah, it does well on Twitter, but like, there's not a reason why. Even thinking about the argument between the two of them, it's like, and we'll stop here. They don't even run in the same circle, so they don't really care about each other. It's fine. It's okay. Everyone's gonna be all right. Just because I need to defend other people. Look at this, Russell. This is the Potomac. The Potomac looks. So that's Giselle. People have things to say, but I think she's beautiful. Go ahead.
I think she looks good, but I also think she looks like a Christmas ornament.
Oh.
I love this look.
This is me. I feel like it's a little, I mean, far be it for me to make a judgment on wardrobe and attire. I think it's a little like weighed down right below the midsection, or it's almost feeling like a pantsuit, which is feeling a little bit, it's not, but it's feeling a little heavy from the bottom down. But I love from the top up. And I love the hair, and you know, Mia is of course a beautiful woman, so yeah, I like her. What?
Nothing. You're just hilarious.
And then so we have Ashley. Ashley looks so good on the show all the time, so to me this is just very Ashley.
This look is actually very I feel like if Aaliyah, the singer, was with us today, she would wear something like this because this is very Queen of the Damned. When her,
Oh yeah.
it's very complimentary on the body.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, like she rocked this look. She really did.
Yeah. And again, I'm prefacing that they all look beautiful. This is not the tear down moment
Yeah.
by any means. So we have Karen Huger, which she's always second to Giselle, but we love Karen Huger. She I think she looks great. Something something is
Something's not working here for me.
I don't know what it is though.
I think here's the thing. Hold on, scroll down a little bit again so that I can see her upper torso.
Yeah.
All right, here's what it is. The waist wrap is actually a little too high, and there's no angling or like architecture to that on the waistline itself. So the wrap, there's no architectural design there. Not like discrediting the artist, but on her. The one shoulder thing, it's not working for me. It would have worked a lot better for me if she had two shoulders or no shoulder. If she would have had the two shoulders, I would have wanted to see the wrap come from the midsection and then work its way to the back, but also be higher in the center, closer to the plunging neckline. I would have liked to see the wrap be like that and it flow on the tail.
Do we love the hair?
The hair is great. It's flawless.
Yeah.
No, it looks great.
This is all of them. I'm telling you, wonderful, wonderful look. So this is.
I always think to myself, because we can go on to the next look. Beautiful. This is red carpet worthy.
No,
this
go ahead and
Emmys.
say what you were gonna say.
This is very Emmys. This is very Emmys worthy. That look. I'm always curious to know when, because we know I was styled on Peacock, but that is very television show style and reunion red carpet style are different.
Yeah.
Right. And for us as reporters and entertainment personnel, we tend to style ourselves. But I'm always curious to know when people get certain looks that are just not working, do they see it and think, oh my gosh, this is beautiful, I can't wait to put this on? Or is it more of like, I don't love it, but I'm trying to establish a relationship with you, so I'm just gonna wear it?
Yeah.
Well,
some people might like, this blue is a beautiful color, but some people in the themes that they go with, that might not be how you rock it. Like, oh, that's a color I don't really touch in my day-to-day life, but then you're sort of forced to do it. And you don't want to be the squeaky wheel in that situation. You want to say, okay, everyone's wearing yellow. Okay, I'll wear yellow. Everyone's wearing white dresses. Okay, I'll pull something together.
But I love a standout moment. So I don't know if contractually they had to all dress in a similar color, but I love a little standout moment. I would have wore a maroon because I know maroon works good on my skin tone.
Well, that's it. Yeah. What is the right fit for you?
Yeah.
So I think Robin, I think it's great. I did see online, a lot of people really thought it was a little too simple. The dress. Let me bring it up a little bit.
I think this is elegant though.
Even I feel like it's not too simple. Like, and I'm judging the whole thing. Like, I thought the hair was great, the makeup was great, but I just, because we always try our best to watch. I always say there's room for everybody in terms of recaps and stuff. But a lot of people,
movie star.
Yeah, it's very, it's debonair. Is that a word you would use? Debonair is more of a male, like his suit was debonair. But I feel like women could. Anyways, I thought it was nice, but I don't know that everyone enjoyed it. There was a lot of talk, and not that anyone's opinion is worthy over another's, but I just thought, like, it doesn't seem that simple to me. I feel, I like the way you said.
I think
movie star.
Even if it is simple, like, here's the thing: models don't go into castings all dressed up, right? Because that's just not what it is. And sometimes, I mean, beauty is like, the line of beauty is just so wide now, which I really appreciate. But sometimes simple is beauty. Sometimes you don't need these huge glitz and glamour. And like I said, on the first dress, I'm like, it's beautiful, but it looks like a Christmas ornament. Like, the ones that are like, you hang, they just hang and they get pointy at the bottom. It looked like one of those Christmas ornaments. And
Yeah.
You know, it's a beautiful gown. I probably wouldn't have worn it. I probably would wear this one. You know, simple,
Yeah.
tapered off at the bust line. You know, sometimes less is more. You don't have to show the bust in order to be sexy. And I think this is a very beautiful cut on her. It works very well on her. I like the snake sequence that's going down from, you know, across the collarbone, bust line, working its way down the waist. I think it gives shape, it gives texture to her, because without that, it wouldn't give shape and texture.
Yeah, and it's very, it feels also I hope this doesn't sound in a bad way, age appropriate too. Like it feels right. It feels great.
Yeah.
Candace is one of the younger cast members. What do we feel about this? And also we have to think too is like some of these in a photograph may look different than on the show. And again, everyone's a 10, so we're just being picky here.
I love a foofy moment. I think this is very foofy.
Yeah.
But I love a foofy moment. I think it works great. I wonder if I'm trying to look at the feathers, but I wonder if those are dyed and cut peacock feathers.
Keeping the brand.
Keeping the brand.
You know, I do think sometimes more is Kenya more. You know, more is more. More is more. Like be it's a reunion. Be big and gaudy and, you know, eye-catching. So I don't think this is bad at all. It'll just be interesting to see what this looks like playing on the camera versus in the photograph. And I mean that for everybody. What I said about Mia is feeling a little heavy in the midsection or right below. That might not be in the episode, but it definitely felt like through the photograph. You know what I mean? Moving on, we also have, you know, Dr. Wendy, in terms of as a reality, I love it, right?
I love this. This is giving ballroom dancer energy, and I love it. I was always obsessed with, and go with me here, Cheyenne and Vanessa Williams in Dance With Me. And this is very much giving Vanessa Williams her silver sparkly dress that, like, you know, with the fishtail when she's dancing, like, oh my God, like my mind. This look is like by far my favorite out of everybody on this cast. And once again, we see the peacock feathers.
So some people are focused on the long game. Yes, peacock streaming, absolutely. I just think she looks so great. You know, Wendy,
oh my gosh,
to me, sometimes doesn't always fit in with like this reality show, Real Housewives of Potomac, and she certainly doesn't need it. You know what I mean? She's got her 4 degrees and she's got all these businesses and holds her own, not even holds her own, but is so dominant in as a television commentator politically. So she's wonderful. But sometimes the show, I don't know how she matches with the energy of the show. But in terms of beauty, and I think one thing that she mentioned, we heard her say this a bit ago, is, and I don't want to say that I think that she thought she has to prove anything, but she did state recently on Carlos King's podcast that first season she did, it was right after having the baby. And I think when you're on the camera, I could speak to this not as having a baby, but you know, I've always struggled with my weight. And sometimes when you're photographed in a way that you don't feel comfortably, and again, I'm not making that it's not an equivalent, but sometimes when you're photographed when you're not comfortable, you gotta shut it down when you know have her you know, your little bounce back moment. And I just am like gushing over what Wendy is giving. I don't think it's too busy. I don't think that isn't that something.
You know what, it just works so well on her.
I won't even go as far as to say this is a best of this group. This is like the best. This could go in like top reunion looks.
Yes,
across the board. It was very very good. And I was only stating that I'm not the biggest Wendy fan, so that will tell you how honest and authentic I am about like she did that thing. I mean, she really looks
we have gorgeous. Who was the designer? Does it say on the bottom?
I'm not certain.
Baby, let me tell you. And the shoes with the bow, like,
okay, Ryan Fernandez.
Ryan Fernandez. Let me just
Ryan Fernandez. It says and the thing is, everything is working for her here. Makeup, Erica Peni, hair, Dallas Davidolo, Styling is Chanel Welch. Ryan Fernandez is the dress. Jewelry, the Rich DNA. And the shoes are Cartier. So,
Oh, okay. So wait, there's an element of the dress that she removed. This is Ryan Fernandez's Under the Sea themed gown for it says for a Hollywood celebrity client. Real Housewives soon to come. This was posted 24 hours ago.
show it on the camera.
But
You
you're
can.
gonna see the detail in this dress. But look, this is the element that's missing.
Oh, okay.
She took that off. But I think that was a great move because don't drown it out if you don't have to.
Yeah. I love the
You
way
know?
I love the way the leg was actually front and center. So
This is how it's supposed to look on the model.
Drink that up. Drink it all
Yes.
up.
Oh my God. Yes.
So go ahead, Dr. Wendy. Dr. Wendy with her 4 degrees, she definitely did it. Okay, so who else do we have? Like I said, I think all the women look wonderful. Friend of the show, Jacqueline. There's not much to this, but also she's a beautiful woman, so we keep it going. And I just want to be a little support for Charisse because we know within this industry the visual
Sorry,
media.
I had to look at that dress twice. I was like, wait a minute.
Are you ripping it to shreds?
No. I just had to look at it twice because I just.
Well, let me give you a little more. Hold on.
Okay.
So am I being what would be the word for this? Blindly supportive? I just don't love the concept that these are women
that
of
dress was vintage, which is why it caught me off guard because I was like, wait a minute. Is this vintage? But it's not vintage. So I had to dial it back. I was like, wow, I'm shook. I'm gagged.
Yeah.
These housewives are really stepping it up.
I think she looks great. I think she looks
does. She
good.
looks
and
magnificent.
It breaks my heart a little bit. Sometimes people think I don't have a heart or they think I'm only superficial, Larsa this, Larsa that. But no. Like, it kind of breaks my heart the way the trolls look at a look like Charisse. And I don't know if it's because they don't like the way she is on the show, the way she's, saying she has this valuable information that will damage Karen, or if it's just the physical look. I come from an era that looks are important, but also you could still be, a little older, a little more heavy set, and still put it together nicely. And I just always have a little compassion. Pick this up here because I feel like I'm trying to say it.
I don't know what the comments are saying because again, this is the first look that I've had it. This is the first look that I've had of the reunion gowns. But go back to it.
Okay.
I think the hair is working. I think she is beautiful. I think oh my God, her skin is amazing. I wish my skin looked like that. Okay. I think the heels are working. We like a platform 6-inch heel. This is all but again, the one thing you have to remember when it comes to style is that you have to find what works best for you.
Right.
And so would we have loved to see her in a plunging neck gown? Maybe. But maybe that wouldn't have worked for her. Maybe this is what she knows works for her. And I mean,
yeah, and I feel like she almost
fits her body very well. The bodice is amazing on it. The architecture on the waistline and how the different angles and the way that fabric falls into the side cutout works for me. Everything works for me. So I don't know what the comments are saying, but girl, don't listen to them. Listen to me.
Charisse, we do like you, and you're right. It's use what you have, work with the design that's going to make you stand out the most. So maybe she does feel not insecure or not confident.
Maybe she feels her sexiest in a tight fitted gown that comes all the way up to with a crew neck cut.
I think it looks really sleek. Yeah, I think it looks really sleek, and I don't know if my mind is only coming to defend her because Twitter was quite difficult, and obviously we don't care about Twitter.
She looks like freaking Barbie. Are you kidding me? I don't care what Twitter has to say. The Twitterverse can go scratch because I feel like she looks like Barbie.
Yeah, and the way the leg is just pow. That's the same thing that Dr. Wendy had. Obviously, it's a little they're different makes, but it is pow. This is where she shines. Very sleek, very regal. And I guess at the end of the day, I hope she's happy because she looks wonderful. And all of them did. All of them did. So you get a little heart from Ronnie today. Russell, I believe that
Yes.
we've talked about everything today. We had a long
have.
episode. I guess I missed not having you as my co-host, so we had to get a lot of conversation in.
I missed you, and I missed all of our fans. We love you. We'll be here in Long Beach for Long Beach Pride. If anybody wants to join us, I'll be wearing my bracelets that I bought on Amazon because I can't afford anything else.
I love the way we do an episode, and when we end the episode, we end it like we're getting an Academy Award. Like nobody's giving us an award.
Baby, look, this is the microphone award that I'm going to award. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank all the people that I had to step on to get here. In the words of Jennifer Lopez, that's Selena.
Oh my gosh, like we give ourselves an award because we're keeping it authentic and funny and funky. So yes, it was a good episode. Thank you for your time. If you have any last thoughts, go ahead and state them now. What do you think is going to happen? Otherwise, we're pretty much wrapped.
I think we're really going to see the end of whatever relationship was there between Larsa and Dr. Nicole.
Mhm.
And I think Thierry's not done yet with his comments. I think him and Alexia are going to have another blowout.
Mhm.
Because again, it bothers him that she doesn't acknowledge that she was in the wrong.
Yeah.
So, and Alexia is going to deflect in her Teresa Giudice way.
She
And
sure
she's
does.
not going to do it.
Yeah.
I hope to see more of Julia's aspects of modeling. I do.
Mhm.
I think Gertie is always killing it. I'm going to say this again. I want to see them in their elements. I want to see Gertie with these gorgeous, amazing venues so that Gertie can have a spinoff called Gorgeous with Gertie. Okay. Thank
Gertified.
you.
Yeah. Mhm.
Gorgeous weddings with Gertie.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's
Thank
what you do. You
Gorgeous
get on these
gowns with Gertie. Gorgeous everything. Like she just has it. And
When
Kiki,
you-
I need to see more expresses from her. Like,
when you like what is it? Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah, when you do these shows, it's the Bethany Frankel, you go in there, you do this show, but you start realizing what other things you can do to enhance your brand. And for the sake of that, we want everyone to do well. We want Dr. Nicole to do great. We want Larsa to do great. We want Julia to do great. We're just like picking the fine points, really. I hope you understand that. If you want to support us, though, let's Housewives. Let's talk about us. If you want to support us, make sure you go to russellraysilva.com, RandomlyRonnieJr.com, and if you want to make it rain on my Patreon, Larsa, I'm looking at you. Patreon.com/RandomlyRonnieJr is where you could support. And we hope you had a really fun show. That's what it's about. Larsa. I mean, give her the spinoff. Yes.
Marsha.
That's it for the episode. We could go on and talk about the real friends of WeHo, but that would be a whole nother episode. And maybe we will come back and do that next week. Who knows?
That's not for today.
This is it for today.
No. Real Housewives or real whatever of WeHo is.
Russell, glad to have you back. I'll talk to you next week.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Ronnie Jr.